Welcome to The Insider, the ongoing video series that keeps you up to date on everything Independence Pro Wrestling. I am the voice of IPW, J-Rod. IPW was in Kalamazoo for a coup d'etat. Just before the event began, ominous Ramirez approached Jamal King. Ramirez told King that instead of the militia fighting with Black Excellence, Ramirez has other plans. To make things right after what happened between the two teams at Tough Luck, Ramirez was hoping they could work out a deal. We could infer that Ramirez was talking about the intel he got from spying on Marco Modelo and TVA, who started the event off saying they wanted to work together to continue taking out Black Excellence. Van Avery pointed out that by hook or crook, Black Excellence has lost TDG, Dragon Jones, Chris Moore, and Jackson Stone. Marco Modelo may have weakened LaDon Sanders by taking the Cyber Championship, but LaDon is still on the team. TVA called out LaDon Sanders and Dior Nolans, hoping he and Modelo could finish the job. Instead, though, the Midwest Misfits came to the ring. Chris Movado tried to goad the hot-headed TVA into a tag team match with them instead. TVA resisted until Chris Movado smacked him across the jaw. The Misfits got their wish, and the two like-minded individuals working together to take down Black Excellence had the opportunity to become tag team champions instead. Modelo and TVA nearly pulled it off until they were blindsided by Black Excellence. The Misfits helped Black Excellence lay some shots in until Jamal King ordered Elijah Eros and LaDon Sanders to turn their attention to the Misfits. Brutus Dillon would have none of that. Dillon ran to the ring and went straight after Jamal, telling King that this was not the plan. Jamal King told Dillon that King had altered the plan. Quote, "We decided first we were going to take them out. Now we are going to take you out," end quote. Black Excellence then jumped Brutus Dillon until the Midwest Militia ally Big Jorge made the save with a kendo stick. Despite Midwest Militia's unsavory tactics, the fans always seemed to love them. When Black Excellence decided to attack the militia, the fans did not appreciate that shit at all. Back at Tough Luck, lovely Miss Larkin pinned the women's champion Stella Buho in tag team action. Buho was in a hurry to get revenge too, especially after Larkin kidnapped Buho after the show. Lucky for Buho, she was able to escape with enough time to snitch to management and get herself a match booked against Larkin. A great matchup. The end came when Buho landed that nasty cutthroat DDT for the win and successful title defense. Buho, bitter about either the kidnapping or the pin loss in Tough Luck, wasn't satisfied and kept pounding on Larkin until Buho's longtime rival, Thunder Kitty LaFleur, ran to stop her. I could watch these two fight 1,000 times. With Buho's controversial win the last time, maybe we'll get to see these two run it back. Black Excellence representatives LaDon Sanders and Elijah Eros were in tag team action next against Twist and Flip. Darren Fly has been showing some animosity towards Nate Cobain. Fly has expressed jealousy towards Nate's opportunities he's gotten so far and blames Nate whenever things go wrong. Things would go right this time for Twist and Flip though, when Sanders accidentally hit the cheek clapper on Eros. Nate Cobain absolutely nailed LaDon Sanders for an easy pinfall, but Darren Fly wanted the glory. Fly tagged himself in, then nearly fucked up his own shooting star press trying to look cool, and got the pin himself. When the two were celebrating, Fly jumped in front of Nate trying to outshine him. Before Sanders and Eros could leave ringside, Jamal King came out and completely ignored and blew past them on his way to the ring. King got in the ring and addressed the crumbling of his empire. King has lost friends over Black Excellence and is starting to get frustrated. But King assured everyone that Black Excellence will recover, starting with him. King said he would defend the IPW Championship against anyone in the main event. A bold move. Invictus would challenge for the Michiana Championship against Big Jorge in our next match, coming up short to a huge Barrio bomb in Big Jorge's first defense of the title in his second reign as Michiana Champion. Jimmy Shawwood wanted to come talk about something, but was quickly cut off by Dirt Sheet Dan, some fucking Dave Meltzer wannabe with an insufferable internet blog that nobody ever reads. Dirt Sheet Dan had been newly signed to IPW and made his first point to mess with Shawwood about Three Hearted. Dan accused Shawwood of being on Mondo's side in all of this. Shawwood didn't take kindly to the accusations and challenged Dan to a match. Dan agreed and got his ass kicked. After the match, Jimmy was able to carry on with his plans. Jimmy asked Mondo if they were good now that Max and Mondo finally got a chance to fight it out. Mondo said, "We were never not good," and he and Jimmy hugged it out. Jimmy then welcomed Max Morrison down to join them, completely misinterpreting what Mondo was saying. Mondo said, "Real hype is alive and well. Three-Hearted is dead." Real then threw a tantrum and left ringside. A disappointed Morrison just asked Shawwin to leave so he could wrestle his match. At Tough Luck, Chad Alpha decided to hijack the show and demanded his rematch with Jamal King. IPW newcomer Primetime Thomas Heim got Alpha to get out of the ring the hard way, and the two were scheduled to compete. Alpha didn't think his actions would cause him a suspension, but they obviously did, and Heim instead asked management to just get him in there with an established IPW veteran. Max Morrison was the perfect fill-in. In what may be the biggest upset so far this year, Thomas Heim pulled it off. Impressed with the prospect, Max Morrison shook his hand. Remnar Gutlock has been going it alone after Jay Lee's injury, and he took on Mondo Real. Real showed the Uper no respect throughout the match and nearly paid for it until the brass knuckles came back out. Real knocked out Gutlock, then put him in the Boston Crab for a technical submission win. It was time for Jamal King to put the title on the line against whoever, and it was time for the Midwest Monster to get his payback. King looked like he was scared shitless, but decided to go straight after Dylan and take him by surprise. That didn't work, and Brutus took it to King early on. Dylan got a little ahead of himself, pulling out a table and set it up in the corner of the ring. That would eventually bite Dylan in the ass though, when Elijah Eros distracted Dylan and then the referee, and Jamal King speared Brutus Dylan through the table and pinned him for the big win. After the show, Darren Fly and Nate Cobain tried to play a prank on Mondo Real, but Mondo didn't think it was funny. Twisted Flip told Mondo if he wanted to fight about it, then bring it on. Realizing he was outnumbered, Real decided to turn tail. Dumb Shit Dan caught up with Twisted Flip outside to interview them and obviously to start problems between Cobain and Fly, which worked like a charm. I hope he got the material he was looking for, asshole. As soon as the interview was over, you could hear the ping sound and the camera panned over to see TVA had just cracked Elijah Eros over the head with an aluminum baseball bat, leaving him laid out on the sidewalk. The cameraman called an ambulance right after, and Eros was rushed to the hospital. He will make a recovery, but he's got a pretty serious concussion. Marco Modelo, proud of his championship, says he needs another. Marco Modelo has thrown his name into the hat of IPW stars who want their shot at Jamal King. Modelo's interview was cut off by Mondo Real, who stole the cameraman and made him follow Real into the restroom, where Mondo caught Nate Cobain with his pants down, literally, and beat the hell out of him. Retaliation for the prank from earlier. Both guys want to settle it the hard way, and Nate Cobain and Mondo Real will go one-on-one at Lost and Damned. That concludes this edition of The Insider. Join us on Sunday, April 13th at Holmes Campus in Ann Arbor, Michigan, as IPW presents Lost and Damned.